So this is the portable shower on as hot as it can get. I'm going to take a temperature reading of it here in a little while, but you can see the steam just rising off of it. Now the water going into this was 77 degrees, so that was room temperature water. So what I'm doing right now is I'm waiting to see how long it takes to run out of a 7-gallon tank of water here. I've got it going into here, pumping out of there. There's the unit running, there's the battery. And right now, this has been on for, been pumping for 6 minutes, almost 7 minutes now. Okay, 8 minutes 8 minutes 20 seconds, and we are looking at, yeah, you can see the water line in there in the pump. Probably got at least another 2 or 3 gallons in there. This is a 7-gallon holding tank for water. We're gonna keep going until we see empty. Just so people can see, this is the pump. Now, no, they keep, you know, they only complain about this thing is that the pump's not very strong. That's plenty strong enough, and that's with the head wide open. Now you can turn it to the middle setting, and you can see it's, I mean, it's coming out really strong. And then of course this setting, it comes out strong too. That's just the middle. It's about half the setting of wide open, but I'm going to turn it back to wide open because I want to keep this kind of as fair as possible. That's as much water as it can dump at one time through this shower head. Okay, we're at 12 minutes 12 seconds. I want to show everybody something else too. If you see down in there, if I can focus in on it, let's see. I don't know if I can show that to you or not. Out the top of the pump, sorry. Out the top of the pump you can see water spraying out the top of it. That's how it keeps itself from, right there. That's how it keeps itself from building up too much pressure. People seem to be a little bit worried about that if the pump, you know, because it never shuts off. And that's just not the case. It can't overpressurize because it has those bleeders that constantly bleed water into the holding tank itself. So if you shut the, oh, now we're just now out of water. We are at about 13 minutes 20 seconds. Let me shut that pump off. Yeah, we were at about 13 minutes 20 seconds, maybe 13 minutes 15 seconds. It took me a few seconds to get there. Now you don't want to run that pump if the tank is out of water like that for a long extended period of time. But what I was trying to make the point of just a second ago was the fact that at the top of this there's a little hole that sprays water, even though it's inside the holding tank and it's submerged. It constantly sprays water out of itself, and that's, I'm assuming, engineered because, and it also does that out the sides here, because if you shut the shower head off with its own little button that's built into it, which I'll show you that here. This button here is an on and off. I just had it on the whole time. But if you shut that off, it'll actually kill the propane, not only the water flow, but the propane. It'll stop the flame in this. See, I haven't done anything as far as the propane is concerned, and it's already off. This is no longer putting out any heat whatsoever. The unit's still warm from being used, but you can see I can touch it. And that's been wide open for you know, like I said, 13 minutes, over 13 minutes. So it took it 13 minutes to empty a 7-gallon tank. That is actually a really long time with water running constantly. And again, people's concerns were the fact that the pump itself does not have a cutoff. So if you shut the on-off on the shower head, if you shut it off, it cuts the propane off and the water, but the pump will continue to run. There's no cutoff for this. But that's okay as long as it's still submerged. If it's still submerged, as you can see, it can't build up too much pressure because it bleeds out the top constantly. Not the hose, but out the top of the pump housing itself. And out, it's got a couple of areas here on the side. Let's see if I can find them. They come out the side of the, they actually come out the side of the filter, that little metal grate. Because when it's down inside of there, you can see it just forcing water out. And it's not just pulling in, but forcing water out. That, I assume, is to keep this from overpressurizing this little system, which is a good thing for the engineering portion of it. I'm glad that they did that, because again, you can't shut this off, but that's okay. As you can see, now you don't want to run it like I just did for an extended amount of time dry, because it will get warm. And right now in my hand, it's just barely warm. But I'm going to take a temperature real quick of the water. I've been sitting here talking. I haven't taken a temperature of what this water is. My thermometer is 7 degrees off. I'm going to see what it says. Give that a second to rise. I can tell you this whole entire bathroom is now kind of steamy. And yes, I have the door open and vented for those that might worry about me getting asphyxiated in here. That's not a problem. So this thermometer reads 7 degrees low. This tub was completely cold when I started this, so that it's a iron tub, and it's so that would cool off 7 gallons of water really quick. As you can see, it's not, that's 7 gallons of water in the bottom of this tub. It's hard to see that water line, but it's not very high. Right there. So let's just assume, without me having to stay here all day long, that this is at least, it's going to be at least 107 degrees. I could sit here and hold it and probably get warmer and warmer and warmer. And that's in a, like I said, a cold iron tub. When I did this yesterday, and I was taking the temperature right out of the shower head, it was coming out of there at about 125 degrees. This unit's got a safety built in. If you're one of those that want to recycle the water, which means that the water is going back into the holding tank and warming itself back up as it goes through the unit again. The unit's only going to allow up to 167 degree discharge before it goes into a safety cutoff mode. And that's just scalding. I mean, actually, you can't stand under it with what I was just doing. It will actually burn you. So, did this same thing yesterday. I just didn't do a video, and it comes out at about 125 degrees, between 100 and 125, more than enough to burn you. So I'm assuming if you take this camping, which was my intention for deer hunting, and that water's really cold because it's been sitting out all night, I'd say, you know, if that water's, let's say it's 45 degrees, I should be able to get that water at least 80 degrees or so, and that's going to be plenty enough for a shower in the middle of nowhere. And if I recycle the water, I can get it even higher. But I don't think that's even going to be necessary. I may test that after a while. I may actually refrigerate the water and see. You can see it's still climbing somewhat. So it's about 100 and, I don't know. I can't see it that well. So if I'm 102 on here, I'm at least 109, 110 in this tub. And if you know hot tubs generally max out at about 104. And that's uncomfortable to me, so this is plenty hot enough. Anyways, these are great units. It's a Costway. I know I didn't even start the video like that. Sorry, my place is a mess. But it's a Costway Insta hot water heater. They are Chinese, I can tell you that. The directions are actually pretty good, but they still have some... You can tell that there was a little bit of a language barrier when it came to translation in their instructions, but it's still a great unit. It really is. Love this thing. It's real easy, and I love the on and off function of the water, which is what most of these units do not have. Once you start them, you can't stop them. They have to be flowing all the water all the time. Otherwise, if you don't, the element inside of the unit will overheat and you'll burn them up. So they're designed to run all the time. This one was smart enough to put a little piezo igniter inside of it, and it's smart enough to know if there's water flow. If the water flow stops, it kills itself. If it and when water flow starts again from the handle of the or the shower head itself, then the piezo will kick in and it will ignite itself. So these sell for $159.99 on Amazon, which is where I got it. I think you can get it directly from Costway for $153.99 right now. So anyways, I got it for $159.99 free shipping. And man, it's been a great little unit. Hope you like it. And, oh, and by the way, the battery. This is a battery I use in my boat. I've got it inside of this Minn Kota box, which is great for this application because it has two 12-volt outlets, which is perfect for this application. And I've got a 29 class battery in here, which is huge. And also you can test the strength of your battery. These little lights up on top. But yeah, these are the coolest little things, and I keep this charged up all the time with solar. So, you know, this is the perfect package for me. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment below.